Hi, this is Usman Malik of LondonLawTutor.com, and we thought it would be a good idea to kick off 2014 with a podcast on cross-border mergers and acquisitions. Now, this area of law is very widespread because for a law firm, it involves issues in almost every aspect of the law. What do I mean by this? Well, when a business wants to expand, for example, it would require to acquire other businesses and their expertise. For example, if I was a business that sold leather garments, I would need to purchase the materials to make those garments from a supplier. Now, what if I owned the supplier as well? Then I could actually make the same products for a better price by combining the two business. So that's the merging of the business part. And that element involves many issues. For example, it could involve issues of competition law, whereby under the EU law, under the merger regulations, there would need to be transparency vis-a-vis the deal and the exact specifications of the deal and its impact on the EU single market economy. Now, there are many other aspects of mergers and acquisitions. For example, when you want to do vertical integration or horizontal integration. So, what does that mean? Vertical integration would basically mean that I am acquiring a supplier in the previous example, as we suggested. But horizontal integration would mean that when I sell leather garments, I'm purchasing other businesses or shops that also sell leather garments. So you see, they're in the same chain. That's why that is known as horizontal integration. So, and we will obviously link this aspect of cross-border mergers and acquisitions by looking at legal aspects of international finance in our next audio lecture, which is going to show that when I want to, as a business, expand, I would obviously need capital and to fund my purchase of another business, especially if I don't have that much capital to acquire another business that might be the same size or bigger than my own business. So in that case, I would need to acquire a loan perhaps from a bank or more importantly, a syndicate of banks, as we shall see in one of our next podcasts. So other than mergers and acquisitions, I mean, these sort of deals involve different kinds of transactions. So it could be simply a merger of two companies to create a new entity, or an acquisition of just shares in that company, majority shares or minority, or even a strategic alliance between the two companies, sort of like a partnership. We could also look at joint ventures, whereby the two businesses would have an agreement on combining only certain aspects, for example, research and development between Sony and Ericsson in 2001. So these are the sort of transactions involved in mergers and acquisitions. And the most important thing to take away from this podcast is that one should remember that either it would be a share purchase agreement or an asset purchase agreement. So either if I have one company and I want to purchase another company or acquire its shares, I will actually, by obtaining the shares in that other company, buy that whole corporate entity. So with it will come all its liabilities, because as we know, a company is a separate legal person and it has its own liabilities, for example, towards its stakeholders, shareholders, employees, and tax liabilities. So I would take on all of that. And a different way would be for me to just acquire the certain aspects or assets of that company. So if I wanted to expand, I would just take one of their factories that was most useful in order to expand my own business. So that's how that works. And I hope this basic podcast has given you somewhat of a understanding and insight into how mergers and acquisitions works and why it's so important in the modern commercial world. And when you do take lectures or a course on this, you would get a better understanding when you read the cases and actually do the case studies and read the theoretical concepts as well. Thank you very much.